13 most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever. From busts to blunders, we're going to take a closer look at the draft classes that made us all cringe and shake our heads in disbelief. So get ready to laugh, gasp, and maybe even shed a tear as we break down the worst draft decisions that left teams and fans scratching their heads. So buckle up and join us as we count down the most ridiculous draft classes in NFL history. Number 13. Starting us off at number 13 is the 2012 draft class for the Cleveland Browns. Out of their 11 picks, 5 of them were traded away or released before the start of the season, leaving the Browns with only 6 players to show for their draft efforts. Even worse, none of the 6 picks made a significant impact on the team that year, resulting in a disappointing 5-11 record. It's safe to say that the Browns had a rough go of it with their picks that season, leaving fans scratching their heads and wondering what could have been. If you thought that this pick was disappointing, then the next one will blow your mind. Number 12. Up next, we have the 2007 draft class for the Oakland Raiders. This draft class was a perfect storm of bad decisions and questionable picks that led to the team's downfall for years to come. The Raiders' top pick that year, Jamarcus Russell, was supposed to be a game-changing quarterback, but instead turned out to be one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. The team had also reached for players that were projected to go much later in the draft while passing up talented players that were still available. To make matters even worse, only one player from this draft class managed to stay with the team for more than 2 seasons. It's safe to say that the 2007 draft class was a disaster for the Oakland Raiders. Hold on to your seats because the next pick is going to leave you speechless. Number 11. Coming in at number 11, we have the 1996 draft class for the New York Jets. This draft class was a complete bust for the Jets, with none of their picks making a significant impact on the team or in the league. Only one player from the entire draft class managed to play more than 5 seasons in the NFL, and that was linebacker Marvin Jones, who never reached the level of success the team was hoping for. The Jets had a total of 10 picks in the draft that year, but failed to select any player that would become a franchise cornerstone or even a serviceable starter. Some of the notable busts from this draft class included running back Alex Van Dyke, defensive end Dorian Boose, and quarterback Ray Lucas. The team had also passed up on future stars like Terrell Owens, Brian Dawkins, and Marvin Harrison, all of whom were still available when the Jets made their picks. If you thought this pick was a disaster, just wait until you hear about the next one. Number 10. Now coming in at number 10 is the 1999 draft class for the Cincinnati Bengals. This draft class was a total failure for the Bengals, with their top pick, Aki Smith, being considered one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. Smith was expected to be the franchise quarterback that the Bengals desperately needed, but instead he turned out to be a massive disappointment, and his career was over before it even really began. But wait, there's more. The Bengals had not 1, not 2, but 4 picks in the first round of that draft, and none of them turned out to be successful. And to make matters even worse, they missed out on future stars like Edgerrin James, Champ Bailey, and Javon Kearse, who were all drafted after their picks. Hold on to your seats, folks, because we're about to dive into the next pick on our list of the most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever. Number 9. At number 9, we have the 2009 draft class for the Detroit Lions. The draft class was a total letdown for the Lions, with only one player, Matthew Stafford, still playing in the NFL. Sure, Stafford is a great player and has a solid career so far, but the fact that he's the only player from the entire draft class still in the league speaks volumes about the Lions' poor draft choices that year. With multiple early picks in the draft, the Lions had a chance to build a strong foundation for their team, but they ultimately fell short. The 2009 draft class is a clear example of how one bad draft can set a team back for years to come. And that's why it deserves a spot on our list of the most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever. So let's give a big shout out to the 2009 draft class for the Detroit Lions for their impressive achievement of being one of the biggest disappointments in NFL history. You won't believe what happened with this draft. Get ready for the details. Number 8. We're on a roll, folks, and we're not slowing down yet. Coming in at number 8 on our list of the most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever is the 1998 draft class for the Arizona Cardinals, with high hopes for first-round pick Andrew Wadsworth. The Cardinals thought they struck gold, but unfortunately it turned out to be copper. Wadsworth ended up being a massive bust, playing in only 3 seasons and never making a significant impact. But it wasn't just Wordsworth who led the Cardinals down. The rest of the draft class was also a letdown, with no other player making a lasting impact on the team's fortunes. Before we move on to the next pick, make sure to land that touchdown on the subscribe button and kick that notification bell right through the goalpost. We're halfway there, folks, and the hits just keep on coming. Moving on to the number 7. Number 7. Number 7 on our list is the 2008 draft class for the Miami Dolphins, which was a major disappointment for the team and their fans, with Chad Henne being their top pick and not living up to the expectations. But it wasn't just Henne who led the Dolphins down. The rest of the draft class was also a letdown, with no players making a significant impact for the team. It's clear that the Dolphins missed the mark with this draft class, and it's had a lasting impact on the team's fortunes over the years. And let's not forget, folks, there's still 6 more drafts to go on our list, so stay tuned for even more hilariously bad NFL draft classes. Number 6. Coming in at number 6 on our countdown for the most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever is the 2000 draft class for the San Diego Chargers. And folks, let me tell you, this one is a doozy. With their top pick, Ryan Leaf, being one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history, it's no surprise that this draft class was a setback for the Chargers. Leaf's performance on and off the field was a major letdown for the team, and the rest of the draft class didn't fare much better. The Chargers struggled for years after this draft, and it's clear that their poor decision-making in the year 2000 played a big part in that. Ready for the next jaw-dropping pick? You won't want to miss this one. Number 5. We're getting close to the top of our list, folks. And at number 5, we have the 2013 draft class for the Buffalo Bills. And let me tell you, this draft class was a real stinker. With only one player from the entire draft class still on the team, it's clear that the Bills didn't make the best decisions that year. They had a total of 8 picks, but only Kiko Alonso has had any real success in the NFL. The rest of the class was either injured, cut, or simply didn't live up to the expectations. When it comes down to bad drafts, it's one thing to miss a few picks, but when your entire class is a bust, that's a whole other level of failure. And unfortunately for the Bills, that's exactly what happened in 2013. You won't believe what this team did with their pick. Get ready to be shocked. Number 4. Number 4 on our list of the most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever goes to the 2014 draft class for the Cleveland Browns. And boy, did they ever swing and miss with this one. The Browns had high hopes for their first-round pick, Johnny Manziel, but unfortunately he turned out to be a massive letdown. He only played 2 seasons in the NFL before being out of the league altogether. And unfortunately for the Browns, the rest of the class didn't fare much better. But hey, you have to give them credit for trying, right? The draft is always a gamble, and you don't always hit the jackpot. And let's not forget, the Browns have had much more successful drafts in recent years, so there's always hope for the future. If you thought the last pick was bad, just wait until you hear about what's coming up next. Number 3. Number 3 on our list is the 2005 draft class for the Green Bay Packers. Now I know what you're thinking, but wait, didn't they get Aaron Rodgers in that draft? And yes, you're right, they did. But here's the thing. They didn't start him for 3 whole seasons. Rodgers, who is now considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league, was drafted in the first round. But he had to sit on the bench behind Brett Favre for 3 years before finally getting his chance to start. And while we can't fault the Packers for wanting to keep Favre in the game, it's clear they missed out on 3 years of Rodgers' talent. But the real kicker is that the rest of the draft class was a complete disaster. None of the other picks made any significant impact at all, and the Packers ended up finishing the season 4-12. Get ready for the next pick that will leave you wondering, what were they thinking? Number 2. At number 2, we have the 2011 draft class for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars were hoping that Blaine Gabbert would be the answer to their quarterback woes, but unfortunately he turned out to be a massive disappointment. He struggled with accuracy and decision-making, leading to an abysmal 5-22 record as a starter with the Jaguars. In fact, Gabbert's poor performance was so bad that the Jaguars decided to trade him away just 2 seasons after drafting him. But just you wait, Gabbert was not the only problem with this draft. The rest of the picks didn't pan out either, with only Cecil Shores III starting for more than 1 season in the NFL. The Jaguars missed out on some big names in their draft as well, including J.J. Watt, who was taken just a few picks after Gabbert. Now, brace yourself for what's coming next. You won't believe it. Number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it to the top of the list. And it's no surprise that the 1992 draft class for the Indianapolis Colts has taken the crown. This draft class was an absolute disaster for the Colts, with their top pick, Steve Emtman, being considered one of the biggest busts in NFL history. And if that wasn't enough, injuries also derailed the careers of other picks from this draft class as well, making it a complete disaster from top to bottom. It's almost hard to believe that a single draft class could do so much damage to a team. But alas, the 1992 Colts proved that anything is possible in the NFL drafts. There you have it, folks, the 13 most ridiculously bad NFL drafts ever. Did we miss any drafts that you think should have made the list? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I bid you farewell.